Hey guys, what's good? It's Marsh Mathers the Fourth here, back to you with another video. And in today's video, I just want to talk about the reasons why I chose to drop out of high school in the 9th grade. For all those of you who are curious to know why I did that and why I made that decision many years ago in 2013 when I was 16 years old. And the reasons I did that, starting off with the first of many, is first of all, when I went to high school, like even previous and prior to going to even the first day of high school, I was still really happy, still somewhat normal, and unaware of all the many things I had been deprived and underprivileged of, and things I never got to experience that I didn't even really know about that much or even ever think about. And I didn't really have emotions of anger, hatred, jealousy, and envy, depression, stress, and suicidal thoughts. But when I went to even the first day of high school, which was in September of 2012 when I was 15 years old, I saw so many things in that high school that I went to, as I would probably any high school that I would have gone to anywhere else, many things that I didn't think about that much. Even if I knew that they existed, I didn't really, like, for example, when I saw that every single student had a cell phone, at the time I really wanted that myself. Either they would have a cell phone or an iPod, and they would bring it to school every day, which to me said to me that, oh, look how much these people are bragging and showing off and boasting about what they have and what they got, regardless of how they got it. And it's not like they were actually bragging about it or boasting about it, but they were showing it off. And my mind made pretty much the idea that they're bragging and boasting about it because they are showing it off. Just assuming that, oh, everyone has one, so who cares if I bring it to school every day, and who cares if I show it off, or even if not to any of my friends, just simply have it in my hand and show literally anyone in this school that, yeah, I have a cell phone of my own or an iPod. And that filled me with so much jealousy and envy at the time. Of course, many years later, I just look back and laugh at myself, and I can only think how stupid and dumb and how much of an idiot I was at that certain specific time in my life, because I started being jealous and envious of so much bigger and better things as time went on and as I got older and kept growing up. Things that actually I feel are totally and completely understandable why I would be jealous and envious of them, like people who grew up with gaming consoles and video games since they were little kids. Their own gaming consoles and video games. Starting with the 2000s era and generation. Anyone who was kids during that era, as I was myself, who had their own gaming consoles and video games growing up, also totally being allowed to play M-rated video games, fills me with so much hatred, anger, jealousy, and envy for those specific kinds of people. Just as I am for teenagers, starting from the 2010s era and generation, who got a job in their teens and were able to buy gaming computers, and more specifically expensive high-end gaming computers, whether they be gaming laptops or gaming desktops, or maybe in even some cases both. I hate, like, if anything, even more than kids who grew up with their own gaming consoles and video games, and more than I am jealous and envious of them, I hate and am jealous and envious of and angry at teenagers starting from the 2010s era and generation that were able to buy or get, whatever way they were able to, their own gaming computers. Those people I literally hate the most in the whole world. But anyway, at the time, obviously I didn't think of those things, but at the time I was just simply jealous and envious of the fact that every single student that I saw and looked at in the high school I went to had a cell phone or had an iPod that they would bring to school every single day. Like, literally every single day of every week, of every month, or any days that there were school, except of course the weekends or holidays, obviously, where there wasn't school, or snow days where school was like canceled. But any other day that there was school, I saw that, and it was the thing that birthed my dark, negative, powerful, over-controlling and over-dominating emotions of jealousy, envy, anger, hatred, depression, stress, and suicidal thoughts. All at once. Like, I'm dead serious. All those emotions, all at once, all at one time, starting because of the fact that I saw that every single student in the high school I went to had a cell phone or had an iPod. And the reason I was so jealous and envious of that is because cell phones and iPods, first of all, are portable. And second of all, they're light. They don't weigh that much. So you can like put them in your hoodie pocket or pants pocket, if you have a pants pocket, that is. And you can, if the teacher in a certain classroom or whatever allows you to, you can listen to music or whatever while you're doing an assignment or something. And I couldn't help but wish I had that, but I didn't have that. So I was filled with hatred, anger, jealousy, envy, depression, suicidal thoughts, and stress. Every single day that I saw that, it just crushed me completely, emotionally and mentally. It just put me down so much. And I would honestly say even more than that, the other thing that was literally the nail in the coffin for me when going to high school, which I would probably even go as far to say was the main reason I dropped out of high school, was that every guy that I went to school with, even maybe not every guy, but a lot of the guys that I had remembered going to school with since like elementary school, middle school, and then high school at the time, had a girlfriend. And they would just flirt with them. So I would see some of the guys, and some of these guys I had never gone to school with, like at any previous schools, but some guys I would even see flirting with their girlfriends in the hallways, or just flirting with other girls that they weren't even dating just because they were cocky or ladies' men or man whores or whatever is a good name or title for guys who can just so smoothly and just with a piece of cake flirt with like any girl in their presence without any trouble at all, because they just have so much confidence and self-esteem. They have so much courage and bravery to just literally get with any girl they want. And even if they don't want to get with this certain girl, they still love flirting with other girls. Even if they're dating another girl, that's just what teenage guys do. And I mean, that really affected me emotionally and mentally. It hurt me. It tormented me and tortured me emotionally and mentally. It filled me with hatred for those guys and those girls. It made me envy those guys. It made me jealous of them. And of course, and obviously, it made me angry at them, because I wanted to be one of those guys myself. I wanted to be able to just so easily, without any trouble or issue at all, just walk up and approach any girl or girls that I was attracted to, that I was lusting after, that I really wanted for myself, and just flirt with them or just talk to them, and I don't know, about anything really, as long as it like made them laugh or made them think I was handsome or attractive or cute or whatever, and just pretty much have that same sort of experience and feeling that those guys were having themselves compared to me. And it made me feel like dog shit, because every other guy was able to do that except me, because I was the loner, I was the outcast, I was the isolated introvert who was just in my bubble, and in like my own bubble and in my own world. And it made me feel awful that these guys were having such better experiences than I was in high school, that I wanted to be able to experience and feel for myself, but I wasn't able to, because I didn't have the balls, the bravery, the confidence, or self-esteem or courage to just walk up to these girls that I wanted to get with so badly, and that I was attracted to, and that I was lusting after. Especially at the time, I was only 15, 16 years old in 2012, 2013. It's only understandable. And of course, when you keep in mind that men at that time in their life have just such like raging hormones that make it only worse, and so when they're able to sort of release some of those hormones, when they're able to get with a girl and have sex or whatever, and do other like sort of crazy shit with the girl they're dating or whatever, they're able to release some of that tension and some of those hormones, so they're not so crazy and not so horny all the time, and not so angry and bitter and jealous and envious and angry and full of hatred for other guys who are experiencing that wonderful stuff. And you know, but the truth is, I didn't get to experience that. I didn't get to feel those sort of benefits about going to high school, those fun things. I didn't get to experience or feel those things myself personally. And it just made me feel much more worse about myself. It made me feel insecure. It made me feel excluded, shunned, left out. Like I was less important, like I didn't matter to anyone, because I can't fit in. I just can't. And I wasn't able to, because I was a shy guy. And any attractive girl I looked at just made me feel so insecure, because I could only ever think about these girls I was attracted to, and every single one of them pretty much already had a boyfriend anyway. But even if some of them didn't, it's like just looking at them made me feel nervous, made me feel insecure, made me feel all timid and just kind of afraid and scared and even terrified. Like, how can I even be in the presence of these just extremely hot girls, and knowing that I look like this, knowing I dress like this, knowing that my physical features are like this, and I just, you know, I guess you could say that I don't really love myself, and I don't think, and I never really did ever think of myself as being that handsome of a guy, that attractive, that good looking, that much of a Chad or whatever you want to call a guy who gets lots of girls. And it's not like I wanted to be a man whore or anything, because I fucking hate man whores. And I would have been happy just dating and having one girl. And if anyone were to break up with me, it would be the girl, not me. I would never cheat on any girl I would be with. Plus, I'm definitely not the kind and type of guy that would cheat on a girl, because I don't have that much game. Like, I am not that outgoing. I am not confident. I don't have self-esteem. I don't have that much bravery or courage to just walk up to and approach any girl any day, any time out in public with a piece of cake without any trouble, and just always just get one, because I'm just so good at picking up girls or whatever. Like, I'm not that kind of type of guy. So if anyone were to cheat on me or to break up with me, it would most definitely be the girl, not me. Plus, I'm not a man whore. I mean, I'm an untouched virgin. I'm a 23, almost 24-year-old virgin who still lives with his parents, after all. But anyway, like, the thing is, I saw so many girls, so many extremely good-looking, attractive girls at the high school I went to. But of course, there wasn't any diversity. Like, there was definitely no African-American girls. There were no Mexican American girls or Latina girls. There was literally like no diversity. It was just white girls pretty much. But even then, it's not like white girls aren't attractive or good looking. They definitely are. And obviously there's really beautiful people in all races, all over the world. And I saw many fine-looking white girls that I felt like, man, if only I could have her. If only I could have her. I wish I could have her. I wish she were my girlfriend. I wish she were my girlfriend. And it just made me feel bad that all these other guys just had such an A game with getting and picking up girls. Like, there was no tomorrow, and it made me feel horrible about myself. It like really did, literally. And like, I just felt stupid. Like, honestly, I felt like so much of a moron that I can't get girls. So I'm not really that important. I don't matter. My life doesn't matter. My existence doesn't matter, because I can't fit in to this school. I cannot fit into this kind of environment, in this kind of sort of culture or whatever of guys who can just so easily get girls. And I can only think, how did these guys have such great game? Or how did these guys have so much confidence and self-esteem? How is it that they don't feel shy or timid or afraid or terrified or insecure or nervous around super fine, good-looking, attractive, gorgeous, beautiful, insanely pretty, cute girls? Like, it just blows my mind how most guys can just get with any girl they want. And even if they already have a girlfriend, or even if they don't, but they just flirt with other girls. It's like, if I were able to do that, I would obviously feel very prideful of myself and very highly and very good of myself, knowing that I were able to do that. But because I'm not, and I never was able to, I felt like dog shit. And I still do, of course, because I still don't have one. And, you know, it just, like, every day I kept going to school and trying to just kind of stick it out and suffer through the pain and the torment and the torture of feeling just so left out of all those other things those guys were experiencing compared to me, and girls too. I was still planning on just still keep going to high school, as originally I wanted to graduate. I wanted to get my diploma. But here's another thing and reason why I dropped out of high school in the 9th grade. Because I got picked on and bullied by 2 guys specifically, that I made the grave mistake of telling them about what my fetishes were, what turned me on, what got me off, or what got me hard. And I told them because I thought, well, these guys are my friends, I can trust them, they're not going to turn on me, they're not going to bully me or make fun of me and get other people in on it, or spread a false rumor that is totally and completely not true, and keep it to themselves, keep it private and secret. And I thought I could, because at the time, because I mean, they were my friends and I was kind of cool with them, but I should have never told them. But anyway, I was in the library of the high school, and I told these 2 guys at the time that I was turned on by girls burping and farting, and I didn't tell them about shitting and pissing or whatever, but I did about burping and farting, since those are definitely my main 2 fetishes, including shitting and pissing. But fart fetish is definitely my main fetish, like, without a doubt. And then it's like burping and then shitting and pissing. But I didn't tell them about the shit and piss thing, just the fart and burp thing, and they immediately, just right away, started laughing their ass off. And they just were so shocked and stunned that I would ever mention something so personal like that. And they just could not believe I would tell them that. And so they started laughing at me and making fun of me and telling me that hot girls, sexy girls, they would never do something like that. And the only girls who would be, of course, like, really fat, obese, ugly fucking girls. And obviously they were only teenagers at the time, so immature little pricks. And like, I still didn't feel that bad about telling them about my fetishes, but I felt, because they started laughing at me and making fun of me, I felt embarrassed and humiliated and ashamed in myself. And then they went around the whole school spreading a rumor, I'm guessing to the other students, that every class that I went to, and there were like 6 classes in a day, but obviously I don't think they would tell the teachers or the staff or the principal or whatever, but I think they just told the students or whatever. And I don't know how many students believed it, but they spread a rumor around the school, is all I heard, that every classroom I went to, I would always raise my hand at the beginning and ask every teacher of any class that I had if I could go to the bathroom for 5 minutes. But obviously not saying what for, but just so that I could go masturbate, because when a guy masturbates or whatever, it takes him about like 5 minutes or something like that at least, if not longer or shorter. But I felt so angry at those guys, and I started hating them. I mean, I literally wanted to get back at them so badly, but I didn't. I never even told on them or tried to get them back, maybe by spreading a rumor about them, which I wouldn't have been able to come up with anything since they weren't open with me like I was with them. And as a matter of fact, nobody is. I mean, so many people in this world are so reserved, and like they keep things to themselves, hidden, secret, private, and personal, and they don't really let that many people in on what they truly and deeply feel in their mind and in their heart, deep down inside of themselves. And I wish there were more real people in this world, but sadly there's not, because in our culture and in our society and in our world even for that matter, we praise people who are fake, phonies, frauds. We praise people who are liars and deceivers, and people who aren't ever themselves and who aren't real and who aren't straightforward and who aren't blunt and brutally honest about who they actually are on the inside. This world would be a much better place if there were more people like that, but there's not. So there is absolutely no way that I would have been able to spread a rumor about them or whatever. And I mean, I could have maybe tried beating them up, but I probably would have got my ass handed to me, because I've never been in a fight, and I have in the past gotten close to fighting some of my old friends, but like it never came down to it where I actually like met them or whatever and actually fought them. And so plus there was 2 of them, and that would have been an unfair fight, 2 against 1, and I don't really know how to fight since I've never really been taught. And neither have I been taught how to defend myself either. So I was obviously not going to go that route. So I just kind of let them spread that rumor about me and let them pick on me and bully me. But it made me feel just so horrible. And it was one of the main reasons I dropped out of high school. And another reason I dropped out of high school in the 9th grade is because I didn't really choose to do the work. I never wanted to do the work because it was hard as fuck and it was difficult. And I don't really understand the need to make words so confusing, so difficult, so hard, and work that is so advanced that it's going to be like you're going to learn it when you're doing like your job when you grow up or whatever. I don't know, like I don't understand it. I don't get it. And so I didn't do the work. And even when I would get homework, instead of bringing it home, I would shove it in my locker. And I would just have a locker literally full of crinkled up, crumpled up homework paper that I would never do. And I would also be late for first hour class because I hated waking up early, especially going to a place that is a cesspool of shit and a place that literally is equal to the pit of hell. And the place where I was getting bullied and picked on and missing out on a lot of things myself. I don't know why I should want to wake up early for a place like that. And plus, it's not like I'm getting paid for it. I'm not. So what's the fucking point of me having to get up early for a stupid fucking bitch-ass faggot school that can actually literally like self-destruct itself and cave into the depths of hell. And that goes for all high schools and colleges all over America and the world for that matter. And, you know, my parents, of course, found out that I was not taking my homework home and shoving it in my lockers and whatnot and not turning it in and all this other shit. And they were obviously so disappointed and upset with me, but I didn't care because I felt like a rebel, like a badass, like, oh, I'm cool because I don't go to school early. I don't wake up early. I love sleeping in, and I especially did as a teenager. And I like staying up late because I have no life, and I didn't then either. And I would either skip first hour class or be late, like every day, which was intro to chemistry. And there was one day that I was late to that class. I walked in and my teacher yelled at me, and he was a guy, and he said, "Do you want to be here? Do you want to be here? Because if you don't want to be here, just simply leave." And that's what he said, honest to God. Like, literally, that is what he said in those exact words, and I quote. And I'm surprised he said that because, you know, I wonder if I had actually left after him saying that and pretty much giving me that permission, if he would have actually just got mad at me from trying to walk out of the classroom. But I also felt like a badass for him yelling at me like that. Like, I'm cool. Yeah, like I'm a dysfunctional student. I don't give a fuck. Go ahead and yell at me. I don't give a shit. And I was looking around in the classroom, looking at the other girls in the classroom, seeing if they were looking at me, or even just the other students in general, the guys and the girls both, to see if they were looking at me, laughing at me, or anything, and they weren't. Surprisingly, they weren't staring at me and staring me down like scolding me for being such a bad student because I'm so late for first hour class. So I guess there was a part of them that maybe had some respect for me. I don't know. But they didn't look at me. Even when I was being yelled at. And even after that, they still weren't. They just kept their faces on their homework. Not homework, but schoolwork. And so that was definitely a reason I dropped out as well. And like literally the work was hard as fuck. Difficult as fuck. And really confusing. And I'm not that smart and wise and intelligent. I really am not. And I really, when it comes to it, I only know like basic work. And so I chose to drop out of high school in April of 2013. The last day of school right before spring break of 2013 when I was 16 years old. And while I was walking home from school, when I used to live in the city of Greenville, Michigan, I thought to myself in my mind, I'm not going back to that fucking wretched place ever again. That place can literally, and all the students, teachers, principals, and whatnot, can kiss my fucking hairy ass. Fuck them all, they can all go to hell. And as I was walking home, when I got out of, like, when I was able to not see the school anymore, I flipped off the direction with both of my hands in the direction the school was. And I just felt like so excited and pumped up, and I got such a big adrenaline rush when I was like, I'm gonna be a badass and drop out of school, and I'm gonna flip off the direction the school's in even though I can't see it. And I didn't want to flip it off when I was still in view of the school, because then somebody would have probably saw me and reported me or something like that. I would have probably gotten into even more trouble. But anyway, and then I mean, the reason I also dropped out of high school is because I got the idea from Eminem, my idol, my favorite rapper of all time, because he dropped out of school in the 9th grade. And so do a lot of gangsters and rappers. And so you could say that I've been influenced and inspired by them to even get the idea to drop out of school in the first place, which I did. And I'm glad I did, and I don't regret it. And I also haven't got my GED because I feel like that's a waste of my time, and I am more worried and concerned about getting a job, especially knowing that I've wasted so many years of my life doing nothing but wasting away. And I don't know, like, I am just much more worried and frustrated in getting a job than I am taking my GED. That may take me 6 months to a year to complete. But anyway, let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. I'm out.